months ago, these 9 women were given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change their lives forever.
The Swan was makeover TV, promising to turn ordinary women into fairy tale princesses.
If someone wanted a boot camp of transformation, this was the best of the best.
The way it was described was, if you're given everything you can to better yourself, can you do it or would you do it? Which sounded great. Hey, why not?
Have you ever wanted plastic surgery? And I'm, yes.
Free surgery, everyone's dream.
A handful of self-confessed ducklings are chosen to spend 3 transformational months in LA with access to top-notch therapy, personal training, life coaching, and to top it off,
More than $3 million of radical plastic surgery.
culminating in a magical beauty pageant.
It seemed like the greatest television program of all time, potentially.
I was so excited. So excited.
Showtime.
But when reality kicks in, it becomes a grueling nightmare.
This is not what we'd signed up for.
This was a 90-day war.
You have to think military.
24/7 commitment. Was it borderline dangerous? Absolutely.
Mostly just what I think about is just how much I want to go home.
Next thing I know, she's crawling down the hallway, screaming for help.
Oh, is this a Frankenstein experiment that we're doing on these women?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Matt really scared the crap out of me.
Come on, hit it. Get on it.
I did everything I was supposed to do.
Absolutely sadistic and gross.
There's a circle of hell that we're going to be in because of producing this show. See you in Hollywood.
I can't believe it. I made it!
It's the early 2000s, and reality TV is shaking up the television landscape.
16 real castaways, 39 days, $1 million.
It was pretty fresh at the time. There wasn't a glut of reality shows like we have now. Do you accept this, Rose?
Of course. The goal of most of these shows was the more sensationalistic, the better. It didn't take a lot to become a massive ratings hit.
Tragic curls to the left. Hi! I'm Mary Alice from Ambush Makeover. Are you interested in a makeover?
And in those early days, self-improvement and personal transformation and growth was permeating reality TV at the time. They were based on the premise that they won't just change your life, they will save your life. They will make your life worth living.
Extreme Makeover was a very popular show, which really set the bar for transformational shows. The person would get a major makeover, literally from head to toe, and it was unbelievable and unbelievably successful too.
Hoping for that kind of success and more, in early 2004, a new show promises to take transformation TV to another level. The Swan.
We're very pleased to have Nellie Galan with us.
It's the brainchild of former Telemundo Network exec and reality TV pioneer Nellie Galan, who sees an opportunity to marry together 2 of America's great obsessions, beauty and televised drama.
Nellie Galan is a brilliant Latina entrepreneur who is inspiring. You could tell one of these people who just has a big heart and really cares.
I have to do a shout out to all the Latinas in the audience.
Yeah. I think this is all in the wheelhouse of Nellie Galan and how she lives her life and how she wants to elevate women.
I love the story of how I came up with the Swan because it's a lesson to all women that in your darkest moment, there is light.
Oh, but I sure am ugly.
I read the story of the ugly duckling, and it said, the ugly duckling was always a swan and didn't know it. The light bulb went off in my head, and I said, oh my God, this is a TV show.
Galan takes her plastic surgery beauty pageant pitch to Mike Darnell, VP of Alternative Programming at Fox.
He was the sort of evil genius of reality TV who brought us things like Alien Autopsy and Joe Millionaire.
No stranger to pushing the boundaries of reality TV, Darnell knows a ratings winner when he sees one and gives Galan the green light.
The Swan program began with a nationwide search among more than 200,000 hopefuls, all looking to fulfill their fantasy of going from ugly ducklings to swans.
Have you ever wanted plastic surgery? Have you ever wanted to have your own dietitian, nutritionist, physical trainer, therapist, life coach? And I'm, yes. I'm Cindy Engel, and I was a cast member on The Swan Season 1.
People just don't understand what it feels like to feel ugly.
At the time I heard of The Swan, I was in my early 30s, and I was living in San Diego. I was mostly interested in the plastic surgery.
I nursed for a number of years.
My breasts pretty much looked like wet tube socks. You know, they were just very much misshapen. We're in San Diego. Everybody's on the beach. Everybody has a perfect body. And so I'm like, I'm in San Diego. I want a San Diego body.
My older sister was listening to the radio doing this casting call, and they're going to be in Denver. She said, it's called The Swan. It's going to be for you. And that's when I asked her, I said, well, do you think I'm ugly? I'm Tanya Cook, and I was a cast member on Season 1 of The Swan.
In the past 3 years, there's been some tragic events that have happened to me.
I had, just lost my job. And then I had lost my brother in an accident. And right after that, my husband and I were getting a divorce. I just felt like everything was against me. Well, when I heard that the show offered a career coach, I was more enthused about that than anything. I wanted to have more self-confidence in myself and be able to do something a little different with my life.
For these women stuck in a rut, The Swan offers a tantalizing upgrade.
If you're given everything you can to better yourself, can you do it or would you do it? Which sounded great. Hey, you're going to help me get everything I want in this world. Why not? My name is Belinda Bazant. I was a cast member on Season 1 of The Swan. I was excited about the idea of getting whatever I wanted done, like an extreme makeover. This is free surgery, everyone's dream. All I wanted was to be happy again, and looking good was the key to getting that.
Oh, I love it! Okay, let's sit down. We're going to go ahead and do the nose.
If looking good is the key, the show needs an expert surgical locksmith. Luckily, they have one of LA's finest.
I must say, in the last week, I'm going, why am I doing this? I don't want to piss off Nellie, and I don't want to piss off Fox. My name is Dr. Terry Dubrow, and I was one of 2 surgeons on Season 1 and 2 of The Swan. I'm going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about breast augmentation in 2 minutes. Ready? I love plastic surgery. I love the opportunity to help people improve their self-confidence. And I've seen transformational changes where a person goes from someone who felt like they didn't really belong to someone who now had great self-confidence and really changed their life.
The casting process includes rigorous medical and psychological assessments to make sure the chosen few are fit to take part. Then, after several months,
congratulations, you've been selected as one of the Swans.
A handful of lucky women receive the life-changing news.
You're gonna be a swan! Are you serious? No.
Finally, they're like, okay, you're selected. I was ecstatic.
Oh my God, I love it!
It was a great opportunity because when is it ever going to happen again?
Never thought in a million years it would happen to me.
I was stoked. I was like, I made it. I can actually take a few months, not worry about paying bills, making money, the kids.
A few months, 100% focused on me and myself. It was an exciting thought. This is going to be great.
So I get a call and they say, we're going to send a production crew to San Diego. We're going to film you and your family for a day. We want you to go back to LA with us that very day, because it was just film. Okay, let's go.
But prospective swans are flown to LA and set up in an apartment complex, eagerly awaiting their new life to come. They sign contracts giving production permission to film every aspect of their transformation. And if they don't like it, they can leave at any time.
Welcome to the Swan program in your new apartment. The program begins now.
Well, the contestants were slowly trickling in, and they're like, these are the rules. We have to stay in our apartments. Everything was going to have a schedule.
We had to turn in our cell phones.
They would always send someone, okay, time to go do this, time to go do that.
I thought when we got there, it's like California. Oh, cool, I can go for a swim, go walk by the ocean, that kind of stuff. We didn't, that was all offhand.
I didn't really think about that too much at that point. I was looking forward to it. So this is going to be great.
But of all the restrictions, there's one that no one saw coming.
Oh no, there's no mirror.
Oh, the mirrors, that was a fun thing.
Every reflective surface from our Swans apartments to the gym to the doctor's offices were treated.
I had a little vanity box that had a mirror on it. They took it and wrapped paper around it. They let us know that we're not allowed to see ourselves until our reveal, which would be months down the road.
They're like, you're not going to see a mirror until this is over. It was shocking because they didn't tell us that.
If they were self-conscious about their looks before, that won't be a problem for the next 3 months.
I was just so excited because we weren't focusing on our outer self. We would spend the time thinking about our inner self, who we are, who we want to be, and how we want to succeed and reach those goals.
This program begins now. Wow.
As the women get acquainted with their new normal, producers hit them with another twist.
And once all of us showed up together, they put us in another room with everybody that was going to be involved in the show. And they dropped a bombshell on us. They said, okay, you're going to have all this done. You're going to have your reveal. And at the reveal, someone's going to go home. This is a competition. And we're looking at each other kind of, what?
I think everyone was in shock when they realized it was a winner-loser situation. And I still thought I was doing it for myself, and this was all about my goal and my transformation. This was not the concept we were given when we agreed to do the show.
But will her transformation be enough to get her to the pageant? Find out next on The Swan.
When I was on the show, it was clear there was going to be a competition. So it was no surprise to me. My name is Michael Addis. I was a producer on season 1 of The Swan.
Tonight, 2 average-looking women will go head-to-head in pursuit of their dream.
It's TV, man. I mean, I don't think it would have given you a satisfying conclusion to have women feeling better about themselves and not turned it into a contest. I don't know how that show ends other than a competition, like it or not.
Do you want to see who's the winner? You want to see who's the loser? It's a sport, and everyone loves a good story.
Kathy is actually a very beautiful woman underneath all the, dare I say, less beautiful features. I'm here as a miner trying to excavate that. Your nose is too big for your face.
After being hit with the news that their transformation will be judged, the would-be swans move on to the surgical assessments.
Get her face, of course, we do her nose, take the bump off, refine the tip.
Where they start to learn how reality TV really works.
They made us look frumpier and uglier than you were, especially with what we called our famous granny green screen shoot. We had to stand up on stage in front of the green screen. So they went out and they bought men's t-shirts, then they cut them so you didn't have any support, and then they bought underwear 2 to 3 sizes bigger than you were. So when you put them on and then they did that spin, that's when you're like, oh, that's ugly.
Belinda's plan features several procedures starting with her face.
I had to go buy a pair of glasses because I wore contacts, and they wanted you to look as ugly as you could possibly look.
TV theatrics aside, the potential for change is huge.
Let's have a look at your breast. Do you mind standing up for me?
I felt like I was a blank canvas, and he was just going to create this beautiful piece of art.
My nose is just too long and too droopy.
And he's up close and he's looking and he asked me, okay, what is it that, you want done? And I'm just have an issue with my nose. I just want my nose done. So that was a given. Breast augmentation, yes, we're going to do that. Tummy tuck, yes, we're going to do that. And he's like, well, we could also do this. We could do that. We could probably do something here, maybe touch up this.
At that point, I was still totally invested and wanted it, was excited to have it done, was looking forward to it. I wanted to see how they could change me.
She wants a breast lift. She needs liposuction. She needs a lot of training.
At the same time, it was kind of bizarre when you have, two different surgeons and a dentist all pointing out your problem areas. We can fix this and we can fix that and we can make this look beautiful.
Let's talk about the body. This sort of the fatty deposit we talked about.
So, hearing that is just emphasizing that and making it more pronounced that we do need this help, that we do need this show because we're damaged and need help to be fixed.
Now your nose. Let's talk about it. Because that's sort of the number one thing.
Yeah. It was a feeling of, I'm excited that they want me, but I'm also feeling like, no wonder my ex-husband left. And no wonder I lost my job. I wasn't keeping up, my looks and stuff. So, it was a kind of a feeling of sadness too.
All right. Showtime. You see how nice and golden the fat is. It's a lot of cheeseburgers in the tube.
The cast are raring to go under the knife, but surgery is a painful process, and they're about to have a lot of it.
It was mainly, if anything, was this liposuction that caused the pain. The way they violently jabbed that sucker in there. From your knees to your breast, and everything has been beat up and stabbed and jabbed and sucked and you name it.
For me, the tummy tuck was the hardest part because Dr. Hayward cut away 5 pounds of fat and skin. And that's a lot.
My belly button has stitches all around it.
It is as painful as it sounds. You're sleeping with your knees up and you're walking like this because if you go too fast, you could easily rip those sutures apart.
He wanted me to do a full facelift where they cut in behind here and pull your way up, and they pull the skin as tight as they can and then sew it up here, and then they staple it back together. So that was the most painful.
I feel kind of like I got hit by a bus.
The surgeries are so grueling, they don't sit well with some of the producers either.
I was a bit queasy about watching, what they were going through.
Really pain. Every part of my body hurt.
I remember joking with the other producers at the time that, well, there's a circle of hell that we're going to be in because of producing the show. Is this a Frankenstein experiment that we're doing on these women? Are we doing these operations to kind of then say, it's alive, and then present the person?
Please keep meditating. I want to wake up.
The premise of the show was you need all these things. You're going to do all these things. The higher number of things that are done to you, the more dramatic the reveal. My name is Jennifer Posner. I'm a media critic. I truly believe that The Swan is the most sadistic of all of the reality shows I've ever seen. Your inventiveness, your creativity, your talent, your skill, your ambition, none of that matters. It is just about, do you look plasticized enough? Are your lips plumped up enough with fillers? Do you have veneers on your teeth? Have you taken enough fat out of your ass and put it in your boobs to be a swan?
Before I pass out, take good care of me. Make me beautiful.
I really didn't know that I could say no to some of the procedures being done. It's not like they said, you're doing this, you signed up for this, so we're going to do what we want to do with you. It was just sort of like, well, I'm here and you're giving me this opportunity, and if you see something that needs to be tweaked or fixed or whatever, you're the surgeon, you know best. Okay, I'm going with it.
I'm ready to land.
And I could be competitive, and I really wanted to make it to the pageant. So I was going to do everything that I needed to do, or everything I was told to do to get to the pageant.
Look at the size of my wand. That's not fair.
So initially, the producers, of course, wanted us to do all the surgery in one session, but we weren't going to do that. We weren't going to expose the patients to 24 hours of plastic surgery, because the last thing we wanted to be is on the cover of Time magazine with us in white coats and stethoscopes saying reality TV has gone too far. And I used to have nightmares about that. Even though it was gloriously interesting and exciting and fun, it was exhausting. I think in the 2 weeks of everyday surgery that we did something like 200 plastic surgery operations on these patients. That was more than a typical plastic surgeon would do in an entire year. We were doing in a 2 to 4 week period. But we felt as safe as it possibly could be. And truth be told, it was.
And we're going to make sure that her breasts balance her belly.
The race to be crowned the Swan is on, with each woman undergoing multiple procedures in record time. But not everyone is keen on getting so much work done.
So, in terms of this bump, you decided to leave it alone.
Yeah, both my girls have the same bump.
The nose is kind of an inherited thing. My dad has the same nose, and my 2 daughters both have the same nose. I still wanted to have that family resemblance, but just tweak it. Don't change it drastically.
I'm a bit disappointed. In the consult, we agreed that taking the bump off her nose would make her look a lot better.
Sometimes when I think about it, I start shaking right now, because when you talk to doctors, you always think of them as on your side, that they're in your best interest, and they're going to really work to do what you want them to do. And that didn't happen.
Other the cases we're doing is a combination as part of a team approach.
A couple of the producers told me that Dr. Hayworth and Dr. Dubrow were going to tag team me. I'm like, what do you mean tag team me? They're like, you're the oldest, and Dr. Dubrow is the body guy. Dr. Hayworth is the artist. He's going to remake your face. They said they were going to have you be one of the oldest people to be on the pageant and eventually go on to win it. And I said, well, that'd be great. And she said, not if you don't do that. I got really kind of freaked out. I said, I need to talk to somebody. This is scaring me.
Tanya requests the meeting with Dr. Hayworth.
I put together this long sheet about these questions I had for him and how I didn't understand why they were going to do this stuff when I didn't really want it. I had my legal pad with all my notes on it, talking to him about it, and he took that notebook and he threw it down and he said, then have Dubrow do your surgeries, and walked out. And so the poor girl that brought me to the doctor's office, she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I kind of feel empowered.
I really can't speak to the interaction between Dr. Hayworth and Tanya Cook, but this was an extreme makeover type transformational show. And so the idea theoretically was to have a complete makeover, a massive change. But if the patients felt pressured to be transformed, they didn't share that with me. Had I known about it, I would have said something. So that's not really something I was ever made aware of.
Eventually, the surgeries end, and the women take their stitched-up bodies straight onto the treadmill.
Come on, Melinda, you ready to do it? Come on. Okay, now you're just warming up. Come on, Melinda.
My surgeries were 2 weeks apart, and within a week or two after that, you're at the gym working out full time.
I wasn't aware of the amount of plastic surgery that many of them were taking on. And I remember seeing them that first week, and they were swollen, and I was like, geez, who is this? That's 10. My name is Greg Como, and I was a trainer in season 1 of The Swan.
I know you got it. Cheerleader time.
The girls, as far as I know, maybe only a few of them had ever engaged in a little bit of fitness, but not really. And I think it was tough on them. I know it was tough. They had no choice to do what they were asked to do.
Looking back at how they did it and what we went through, it amazes me that was allowed. It was a lot of pushing ourselves.
You're going to be in here 2 hours. I'll put you on a treadmill, get a good sweat going, and we get you right over to the weights. You have that?
I tried to be compassionate with them. They were hurting. They were in pain. I mean, there were some big risks with the time frames. Because of hemorrhaging and bleeding internally, all those factors come into play. The biggest thing that would haunt me day in and day out was, God, I don't want to be the one here that someone dies in my care on camera with a blood clot. Was it borderline on the cusp of being dangerous? Absolutely.
Exhausted from their radical physical overhaul, the women turned to the much anticipated life coaching for some emotional support.
Well, we had a life coach that was hired to be on the show. Something happened, I don't know what. Something happened and then she wasn't there. And so in steps Nellie. So now she's going to be our life coach.
Happy, so I hear there's a little black dress that you wanted to fit into. Where is it?
We feed right here.
Nellie is the executive producer of The Swan, and she was very successful at a young age at Telemundo, so she was going to take that knowledge and help us with that.
Nellie Galan was the perfect life coach because she was a young Latina producer who really understood how to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves.
So Christina, there's something I'm not happy about. You are the only Swan in the program that has gained weight since you got here.
I think I saw her once or twice, and it was very brief.
Our visits, our appointments were sometimes canceled, moved often, and sometimes just not even rescheduled.
To this day, I can't tell you what I got from it because I don't think I got anything from it.
Tanya came into this program wanting to look 10 years younger. I just want to give her the opportunity to reconsider her decision.
And Nellie's quote-unquote life coaching to Tanya? Do more surgeries.
Do you think you're going to regret your decision when you get home? Because we can bring Dr. Dubrow back in to do more surgery.
I was disappointed because I was looking for a career coach, and I realized that it was more about the plastic surgery and less about anything else.
No. No more cream cheese, no hot dogs, no pork chops. The party's over. If you don't change your eating habits, you're going to be a tub when you get home.
Nellie Galan was the showrunner. She was the one who dreamed up this bozo, fake, manipulative fairy tale, but then she posed as a life coach.
People have been trying to weigh you, and you have a fit. I don't want to be weighed.
And she was there on set to make producer-type decisions about how the contestants would be treated, not to be their advocate.
I just want to go home.
Are you quitting?
It was like this weird, almost military-style break people down before you can build them up, but the building up never really even happens on The Swan.
To make it to the pageant, you can't be over the weight you came in with. I mean, it's not going to happen.
It's so unethical. It would be laughable if it wasn't so horrifying to me.
Tanya, what's happening?
I think today has been real.
No, it's not just today.
The pressure to meet the competition's demands proves too much for one contestant who just can't take it anymore.
Tanya was a little unsure of herself. She wanted to be able to talk to her husband whenever she wanted to. We found out Tanya had a cell phone and a mirror.
Swan Security received information from a number of sources that one of our competitors was hiding a mirror.
She had snuck a mirror in, oh God forbid.
That's it. You got it. There's our mirror.
And she was making phone calls to her husband. And then they made it look like that's why she got kicked out.
But there's more to Tanya's abrupt departure than shown on TV.
I came out of my room one day and she had like a surgical bandage wrapped around her chest, and she's like, I need to get out of here. And the next thing I know, she's crawling down the hallway screaming, someone help me, someone help me. And she's knocking on random people's doors. Someone eventually opened the door and, obviously called 911, and they took her to a hospital. She's telling them that she was kidnapped and she's been held against her will, and just things went horribly wrong with her.
Tanya's troubling exit comes just days before the women's televised moment of truth.
Oh my goodness, you look incredible.
The day has finally come for the women to reveal their brand new look, not only to the nation, but also to themselves.
When you're ready, the curtain will be drawn back, and you will see yourself for the first time in 3 months. Step up for me, please.
A nail-biting moment for them and the audience who followed their punishing journey to get here.
Finally get to see what I look like. Was it worth it? Am I going to recognize myself? Is it going to be me? There's so many things going through your mind at that point.
What if, when that mirror is exposed and the curtains open, and they hated what they saw? I remember standing there in the line going, please like what you see, please, come on.
I was just so anxious.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I see my whole self for the first time, and it's amazing, it's shocking, it's kind of like, wait, who is this? Oh my God. It's like, oh, that's not me anymore. This is me. This is the new me.
I was kind of surprised at how swollen my nose was, and I was thinking, oh my God, my nose is bigger now than it was when I went in.
I love it.
But I thought, this is good. This is good. I like it.
I felt like I was a lot smaller, which was nice. And, luckily the other stuff was more subtle. I didn't have dramatic face changes.
I'm beautiful.
But real emotions don't cut it when it comes to TV. A little acting is required.
Nellie said, I want you to get up there and I want a big emotion.
Wow. She's like, okay, when you see yourself, just react, be emotional.
The producer just says, when you see yourself, you need to cry. And I'm like, why?
Oh my God.
We put all this money out for you guys, and I want to see some crying in the mirror. I want big emotions.
Thank you. There's a whole lot of emotion going on. It was just crazy experience. But then also, on the other side was that this is a competition.
It all comes down to this. At the end of each episode, 2 women face off on who has transformed the most. The winner going on to the highly anticipated beauty pageant.
During the show, Cindy and I had a really good relationship. We were buds. We would laugh a lot, and I remember we would make a lot of popcorn and just kind of hang out together.
We bonded, and we respected each other and admired each other, and we had so much in common.
One of you is about to move forward to the pageant. Could be crowned the Swan.
It was heartbreaking. Why couldn't they pair us up with someone else that I didn't spend a lot of time with?
When they brought us together and, we were holding hands and shaking, she glowed. She looked gorgeous. I looked at her and I said, I think it's going to be you.
Cindy Ingle.
So, to me, it's an ultimate cringe. We'll force women to get a zillion procedures at once.
Rachel Love Fraser.
And at the end of every episode, there'll be one woman,
Belinda Besant.
After everything that she's gone through, she's still going to be considered not worthy enough, not pretty enough. She's still an ugly duckling.
Tell me how you're feeling right now. Disappointed. Okay.
It was devastating because I've never won anything, so I think I really would like to be in that pageant, to be on stage and to actually say I won something like that. I think I didn't win because I had questioned the doctors and I hadn't done near as much stuff as most of those people. I was just trying to stand up for myself, and that kind of made me disappointed that they didn't listen, or they based it on my not wanting to do all those surgeries.
A woman is standing up for her boundaries. She wants to push back against something she does not feel she needs for her body, for her life. This is the type of example that should be lauded. But on a show like The Swan, that had to be punished.
From Los Angeles, the most unusual competition ever devised. It's the Swan Pageant.
As Tanya is sent home, Belinda and Cindy join the other face-off winners for the Swan finale, a 2-hour beauty pageant special.
Now it's time to reintroduce the self-proclaimed ugly ducklings who have blossomed into full-blown bombshells.
I think that all of us that went on to the pageant were a bit cookie cutter. It was your typical pageant look, bright lips, big hair, kind of stereotypical, I guess.
Seeing them prance around in lingerie, that was like, come on. They didn't get a chance to show how intelligent they were. They just wanted to show their new bodies.
Turns out Cindy and Belinda just don't have what it takes.
I knew well before the pageant day ever happened that I was not going to be a winner.
I didn't win the grand prize, but, I was third contestant.
This is it, girls. Are you ready?
The show was trying to get us to feel like this was the fairy tale moment.
Our first runner-up is Beth Lay, which means Rachel Operator, you are first. Wow!
It's the height of hypocrisy that a show like The Swan would be named after that fable, when the moral of the show is that you should not have self-confidence internally unless you look like a weird plasticized version of everybody else.
And don't forget to live happily ever after.
The transformation is nothing internal. It's only external, and you can't be the judge of whether you've transformed enough. It was absolutely sadistic and gross.
The real horror comes after the cameras are switched off, as the women are forced to deal with the consequences of their extensive surgeries.
No one gave us any indication of what we were walking into. They didn't give us any warning of what the upkeep would be for our surgeries. I probably spent 10 grand on my teeth trying to get them upkept.
It's even worse for Cindy, as a complication she experienced during her post-show recovery continues to haunt her.
When I had my breast augmentation, Dr. Hayworth was saying, do these sort of exercises, massage it, so that way the implant doesn't capsulate. So I was obsessively massaging. So I think at one point I got too aggressive with it because I felt and heard a pop. That same implant ended up deflating. It was saline, so it just kept leaking. Eventually, I went to Dr. Hayworth, and he's like, yeah, real easy. I could fix it. We could change it out. But it was going to cost like $10,000. I was like, what the heck? I think I was expecting a better deal. I ended up having to get it fixed on my own, out of our own pocket. That's a lot of money that could have gone to something else.
Extreme makeovers are certainly compelling television, but have these shows gone too far?
While critics savage Fox's reality TV fable, The Swan is a massive hit with viewers.
Even though the critics panned the show, everybody seemed to love the show. Everybody talked about the show. It was the most buzzed about show, I think, that year.
Look at the Swan.
That's a massive audience that got what they wanted. Is it great for society? I don't know. You're creating a show for an audience, and we got an audience.
The Swan is back.
You're going to be a swan.
Oh
In 2004, the show was quickly renewed, with a new flock of ducklings desperately seeking a televised transformation.
Oh my God.
But season 2's ratings take a dive, and the swan is culled, leaving behind a complicated legacy.
Okay, so we're going to start the brow and the mid-facelift now.
If you did the swan today, the critics would still hate the show, but there would be 150,000 applicants for it overnight.
I think she's going to be surprisingly gorgeous at the end of this. I really do.
Having said that, I'm a lot more experienced now. I know a lot more about potential plastic surgery complications. Here's what we can help you with. We can take the implant out, release the scar tissue. I am the doctor on a worldwide television program where we highlight complications related to plastic surgery and help people with hopeless problems. And I wouldn't do that much surgery today as I did back then. But this was a dawn of a new era, both in reality TV and in plastic surgery.
From the outside, we might judge and say, well, they're gaslit or they shouldn't have done the show. That's a judgment that I don't think is fair to make with adult human beings. We did end up making people happy because these were their desires. And that's just truth. Like, that's just how they felt.
Looking back, I don't think we were giving a great message. We weren't giving a good message. But I was so focused on myself that I never stopped to think about how someone else saw it.
If people are negative about the idea, give them a blank check to a plastic surgeon, see what they come up with. It's enticing to have that power to change what you don't like about yourself. So, you can't be hypocritical.
The whole show, to me, should have been about empowering women and not just focus on plastic.
They were champions, man. They were champions. And I couldn't have done what they did. I mean, they stayed the course and busted their asses. They did. I would tell each one of them, Jesus, you guys look beautiful. I mean, why was there one swan? To me, they should have all been swans. They were all gorgeous, all of them.
The brand new Tanya Cook.
And like the duckling from the fable, the swans have come to their own truth. It's what's on the inside that counts.
It always puts a smile on my face. It always takes me back to that moment, which was scary but exciting. If I had the opportunity to do the swan again, I would do it all over again. I would. I'm doing really good and successful, and that's something I might not have done without the swan. So it worked out really nice.
It's just crazy seeing myself on TV and the changes and stuff.
Oh, you look amazing.
Yeah, the boobs were big. I've changed a lot from my experience with the swan. I found out I was stronger than what I thought I was, and I could do more. I just feel confident and comfortable in my skin and with myself.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I don't know that I've watched it in 20 years since that filmed. Oh my gosh. Looking back, I don't regret doing the show. I just realized being happy is about who you are and not what you look like. None of those ladies needed the surgery. None of them needed to change. We all just needed to learn to love ourselves more inside than anything.